On Tuesday's pod, exclusively for the Coconut tier users, we celebrated World Coconut Day. Today is International Taekwondo Day, and it was described to me by ChatGPT that Taekwondo is rooted in respect, courtesy, perseverance, integrity, and self-control. And so it's only right that I found a panelist who embodies all of these qualities and more to help us preview Oldham at home. It's Mr. Tom Walker.
Taekwondo.
It's World Taekwondo Day. You knew that anyway, surely.
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah, I've been celebrating all day. Had a big white gown on with a black belt, and yeah, that's all I've got for you. Yeah. To be honest,
did you bow? Did you bow to anyone? Apparently, bowing is quite Taekwondo.
No, I didn't. I'll be honest with you. Yeah. Just in case no one's aware, I had no idea it was International Taekwondo Day. So, yeah, might have to wait for that one to come around next year. Then I'll be bowing all day at work. Decent.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. Well, obviously you missed, if you're not a Coconut tier member, then you sadly missed so far our transfer window review show that came out earlier this week. Fear not, you still can subscribe. It's only £5 a month. Go to undertheabbeystand.com, hit subscribe, and it all becomes pretty self-explanatory from there. Obviously, we will touch today, in a light way on some of the transfers for these round dodging, plebs who are listening to this who have not paid for Coconut tier. Walker's laughing. Probably shouldn't call them plebs. I was thinking about this earlier, but I've gone for it.
Yeah, I was just sort of checking over my shoulder for the offside flag there. I think we got away with it. It might get reviewed after this by VAR, but we'll have to see.
It could. I mean, if, whoever edits this, if they listen, we'll see. Right, Tom. Oldham at home. We are also entering the game in good home form. 7 points so far. Oldham have not yet won a game, but they have drawn lots of games and they are not scoring goals or really conceding goals. Do we think this is our hardest home game we've had so far in the league, or how's it reading to you?
Yeah, I think it has to be. I think the three others that we played in Cheltenham, Harrogate and Newport, you'd probably assume that's three of the bottom six come the end of the season. So yeah, I mean, obviously, we on paper our home form is decent, but people might make the argument that maybe it should be 3 out of 3 because the opposition that we played. I think Oldham, they're a different proposition, aren't they? Really, I mean, part of it might just be because of the stature of the club. Like they are one of the bigger clubs to have come out of non-league in recent years. Like if this was, let's say we were playing a newly promoted like Sutton United or something at home, and all the stats were the same and their record was the same and things like that, we might go into this one thinking actually this is one we might expect to win. So maybe we're just being guided because Oldham are just a bigger club and we feel like that should then pose a bigger test. But yeah, I just think it'll be a different challenge. I'm not sure it'll be quite as comfortable as the other games have been. I'm not sure we'll necessarily dominate quite as much. But look, like you said, their record is their record. They're obviously proving fairly difficult to beat, but they're struggling to kind of do the other bit of the game. So there's definitely a game there to be won. But yeah, I'd probably go along with it being our hardest test yet.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, Oldham perhaps unlucky not to have won any of their games. According to Neil Harris, this might just be a bit of manager speak from the press conference. As you say, whilst they haven't scored very many goals, only conceded five goals so far in their league games. Knowing that, and then Tom, knowing how we perhaps might approach some of these football matches, do you think this is going to be? Do you think it's going to be a pleasing on the eye football match? Bear in mind, we have no responsibility to sell tickets for this.
It might not be, to be fair. And look, part of that might be the way that we play the game. But I think we've been pretty good value at home. Really, we obviously didn't create a huge amount against Newport, and we didn't really need to. But I think in the first two home games and the cup game as well, like created plenty of chances, pretty easy on the eye to watch. So yeah, I mean, like we've been okay. I imagine Oldham will come to make it quite difficult for us, and obviously be quite tricky to play against. It's a game where I think, having said what I've said about Oldham and having said that, I think there'll be a tough challenge. It is one where you do need to, the sort of quality to take over, I think, particularly in midfield. The midfield that we should be able to line up with, frankly, is pretty good at this level, particularly in the middle of the park in Ball and presumably Pelly Ruddock, assuming they're both fit. So it might not be one where it's like, free flowing attacking football and we're, sort of tearing them to pieces and getting in behind loads and it's exciting in that sense. But I'd like to think it's a game that we should be able to at least control the middle of the park. And if we can do that, then you give yourselves a good chance of winning. And I think, as opposed to like Newport, where I think you went into that game and you felt, right, we want to see something really comfortable here, and we did. This is a game where I think it's like, if you can get out with 3 points, then well, obviously you'd be delighted, but there is probably less emphasis on what it looks like than what the return is, I think. So yeah, could be something attritional, but yeah, we'll have to see what version of Cambridge United turns up, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right there, and a win will put us could put us pretty high up the table as well. I would say, just looking at the numbers, it's all pretty. Yeah,
it'd be 13. It'd be 13 points from 7 games, right? So that's going near on 2 points a game. So if you can get a win, I mean, it probably will raise the expectations a little bit, to be honest, as obviously good performances and good results do. So I think at the moment there's probably a sense that actually we're looking pretty decent to be a team that should be in the playoffs, maybe around it, but certainly in the conversation. If you can go into a situation, where you can beat Oldham and that be, your home form looks pretty imperious, and if we can start picking up some points on the road, then all of a sudden that goes from being a conversation around the playoffs to maybe something a little bit better. So yeah, it's a big game for that.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, we may as well talk about the Old Spring at this point. So if you're coming along to the game on Saturday, do not forget our good sponsors at the Old Spring Pub on 1 Ferry Path, Cambridge CB4 1HB. I've got a fleet of match day offers for you. So before every home or away game, obviously home game Saturday, £15 for either burger, fish and chips, or the world famous skepasti, Tom Walker, plus a beer. Any beer is good. Normally you're limited to, certain beers, but this is
swill, absolute swill.
Could just be anything. Doesn't have to be Foster's or Ruddles, could be something pretty upmarket. Obviously, happy hour on Saturday, 6 or 7 p.m, half price beers, and then ticket holder discount, 10% off any time with a Cambridge United season ticket, match ticket, excluding obviously the 2 aforementioned offers. We did it a few weeks ago. It's a good lot of fun there, so would recommend. Walker, transfer window stuff came out the presser, seemed to be the main thrust. Obviously, the first time for us we've heard Neil Harris talk about transfer window. Where to start, I guess. Let's start with Mayer. Obviously, the last one in. Harris, he used the phrase old school 4 or 5 times in this entire press conference, which I found quite pleasing. And he has described Mayer as an old school winger who likes to go down the outside. He said, we don't really have one of these in the squad at the moment. And I think, I can't remember if it was on the pod or whether we were just in the pub, but I definitely, when we were talking about a winger, it was certainly the type of winger I expressed an interest in us getting, as someone who would, hug the touchline, hit the byline, and get the ball in the box. So it sounds like, just from Neil Harris's description, that's what we get. He's probably not quite fit for 90 minutes, apparently. So I think the expectation might be, could make the squad on Saturday. I guess react, for those who haven't subscribed to the Coconut Tier yet, give them a sort of, a semi-good reaction to convince people they need to subscribe to the Coconut Tier to get the full-blooded version.
Is the last 7 years not enough for that?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Should be.
Yeah, should be, but it might not.
And if it's not, there's nothing I can say on this pod that's going to convince people.
That's it.
Yeah. How's that for a sales pitch? Yeah, I think I'm very much with you in terms of, well, at least the description of the type of winger that he is. I'm not going to sit here and claim that I've been on Y Scout and analysed thoroughly Adam Mayer's career, but look, the way he's described it, as you say, someone who can carry the ball, can get up the pitch, and sounds quite direct, which I think is kind of what we've needed, and kind of what we're really missing in this squad. Like, I think Brophy has a bit of that. at his best. He's one of those players who can get you up the pitch 50 yards, which is obviously really important. Mayer sounds like a similar sort of option, or somebody who is going to be quite direct. And I think that's basically what's missing. So you look at Kai, maybe could be like that, but it's not his best strength. Ben Knight, obviously, very different. So yeah, I think it's a sort of sign that we need. Interesting also, Harris mentioned that, I mean, this has been something that's come up throughout the summer in pretty much every single signing we've made, but someone that we tried to sign under him last time.
This was really funny because he said we tried to sign him, and then he went a bit weird and he ended up going to Millwall. Sort of missed the part where Harris did he follow him? I guess he must have almost.
He didn't follow him, surely. Together. That's surely not why he left.
Well, no, we know why he left.
Millwall have signed an 18-year-old from Morecambe, therefore I have to go.
I've got to work with this guy. Nothing to do with the former chairman. And
hey, maybe he'll come on against Oldham and absolutely light it up, and we'll go, do you know what? He might have had a point there.
That's it. This guy could be the making of Neil Harris. He's just following him around. I think he also said he tried to sign him at Gillingham, or they were looking at him when he was at Gillingham. So he's been on a quest for years to sign this guy, and here he is. So let's see what happens. But yeah, no, I like the idea in a way. The game is very tight against Oldham. 70 minutes on the board, and then maybe a double sub. This guy and potentially Shane Lavery. Obviously, we'll get onto squad and availability a little bit later. Would be quite. It's an exciting prospect to have like a proper winger. No offense to any of the current playing squad. I think with Brophy, we touched on that other pod, but I just feel like his game is evolving a bit and he's coming more into the centre of the pitch. Kai's in the middle. Well, more like yeah, I mean, goal scoring prodigy, mate. Mr. M product. So, yeah, very good stuff. Other stuff from transfer window chat in the presser. This one I thought was interesting and felt quite deliberate from Neil Harris. He said, quote, "We are well stocked in the striking department," and he is delighted with the transfer window. He cited Elias Kachunga as a reason that we are well stocked, describing it as a 9.5. That makes sense, which is it's pretty woke, isn't it? Also praised my boy Nascimento in the same sentence, by the way. So I'm delighted.
That got you back on side, didn't it?
That got me right back. Yeah. Well,
to be honest, he said he pulled you right back in.
He described the squad as the group about 10 times, and he used the word old school, or the phrase old school, about 6 or 7 times. So I was just waiting for an on the grass, and that would have made my entire evening. I guess obviously we reacted to this on the coconut tier pod that I keep dangling in front of everyone. But give us a version of your response from that pod, I guess. Are we well stocked in the striking department? Harris also said if we get 1 or 2 injuries to the same position, then obviously we're in a bad situation. Yeah, I guess, how does it all feel?
Yeah, I think my kind of cynical response to that is, well, look, if any team gets 2 positions in two injuries in the same position, then any team in the league would be pretty cooked, I think, with that. I think, the obvious response to that would then be most clubs, well, not most clubs don't have this, but most clubs wouldn't be totally reliant or at least potentially significantly reliant on a player who, in at least the season he's been with us, and probably before this as well, in Shane Lavery, simply hasn't demonstrated that he can stay fit for any sort of period of time. That's where the worry is, right? I think if you were going into, this stretch realistically between now and January, I mean, the free agent market is there, but I doubt we're going to see us using that unless disaster does strike. But if we were going into this period with the strikers that we've got, but Lavery was quite robust and quite durable, I don't think there'd be any concerns at all, really. I think you'd be like, we've got 3 pretty good out-and-out centre forwards, and you've got Kachunga who hopefully can chip in and do a job if needed or sort of if required. So I think if that was the case, I would be like, numerically we're fine, don't really mind. But it's the Lavery factor, isn't it? Lavery's not durable, he's not reliable, or certainly hasn't been, and he's going to have to be managed. Even if he does stay fit, like he's not going to play every game. He's not going to be able to contribute to every game because we just know that that's not going to work. It's certainly not longer term. So yeah, there is that. And then where I'm a bit conflicted, and obviously a big part of this is obviously Lofty leaving, which again we did discuss in the coconut tier pod for the Nutters, but for the Round Dodgers, obviously Ryan Loft has left the football club, gone to Crawley. My thoughts on this are that, look, it does leave us a body lighter, but I don't think we lose anything in terms of contribution, because Ryan Loft just wasn't up to it and just isn't up to it. And we can all sort of spell out this alternate universe where he goes to Crawley and scores 25 goals and we all look a little bit silly and we're all eating humble pie. But I think we've seen enough to that's probably not going to happen. Like, we're not losing a great deal here. So in terms of contribution, I think it's pretty much exactly the same. There are youth players in the squad. There is a George Monday there who could step up and come on the bench if needed. I know this all sounds a little bit kind of, it does sound a little bit scratching around, but I genuinely just don't see the big crisis with Loft leaving. And yes, it's a body lighter, but I don't think that we're that much weaker for it. The other part of it is obviously, we mentioned Kachunga playing 9.5 in that role. Kai can play down the middle as well. Played down the middle, at times on Saturday, and is obviously good enough to do that at this level. So there's options there. Would I have liked us to go out and sign another out-and-out centre forward? Yes, definitely. And there were definitely deals to be done. So there's plenty of, well-known names that moved on deadline day. We're obviously linked to Joe Ironside again, but the question is, do you panic to replace Ryan Loft and end up giving Joe Ironside a 3-year deal like he's got a Tranmere, which would have been as laughable as the deal that we actually gave to Ryan Loft, by the way? Or do you look at what you've got, you take stock and go, actually, I think we've got enough quality in the building here, particularly in forward areas, and if we need to change up the shape or the way we're playing, then we might need to do that. But they'll be confident enough, I guess, in obviously what we've got, that we didn't need to panic. So time will tell. I think concerns around Lavery's fitness are legitimate, definitely. And if he does break down and he's out for any sort of period of time, then it is just 2. And then you are, a bad tackle away from real bare bones. So, yeah, legitimate concerns, but hopefully it'll be all right.
I love it. I guess take me back to 2017 when we started that season with the famous trio of Jabo Ibiri, Adi Aziz and Barry Core. Your level of confidence, would you say you're more or less confident in like a higher or lower fashion in terms of fitness availability in the original group or in the group that we got this season?
Oh, I'm much more confident in the guys we've got now.
But core is Lavery, right? In availability terms,
yeah.
Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like, I don't know. Maybe it's because for injury, basically, we've not seen enough of Lavery, or we haven't had him in the building, so to speak, for long enough. But Core was like, he was never going to play games. Like there was no world in which he would start and play 90 minutes ever. So that was absolutely ridiculous. Like, we literally signed him to play like potentially 25, 30 minutes here and there if he was up to it. Like Lavery, like he has to be like someone who can contribute minutes at least, like on a regular basis. It might not be from the start, it might not be Saturday, Tuesday, but you'd like to think this guy can actually contribute and be considered as a potential starter, whereas Core never was. Even like Aziz at the time, he'd spent time out injured as well. Ibire was obviously getting on. I think he was like 34 at the time. So I'm definitely more confident in these guys, but let's not make these comparisons because that's pretty thin gruel. If we're comparing it to that squad and going, well, it's better now, it's not loads to compare it to. And I have to say as well, I think in terms of ability, this lot are miles better. Again, maybe not saying much because of how that team ended up, but yeah, it's fine.
I was trying to scout how many appearances Core made, put you on the spot. See if we get an over under, but maybe we'll save it for another pod. Right, team news. Speaking of the man, Shane Lavery is seemingly available for selection. Again, from all the noises made in the press conference, I think the feeling is probably not as a starter. That feels pretty unlikely. No Corey Smith yet, but he's close. Harris, I swear he was going to say on the grass at some point, but Smith and Morrison, I'll do it. They're both on the grass.
OTG.
So OTG. With the win next game mentality and the clean sheet mentality and all the other stuff. Seemingly both might be available for Grimsby, so things are looking a bit more optimistic in terms of fitness and injuries. This bit cracked me up when he was talking about Lavery and the medical science. Said they have a lot of meetings and a lot of planning, a lot of thought process. but he likes to go old school and just talk to the player. I was like, punch in the air at this point, like, go on, Neil. I guess.
Hamstring, Shane. Good, are they? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
He'll be
Want to
fine.
start? Want to start on Saturday against Oldham? Do you? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Literally, just see like this
Shut
whole
up! Shut up!
department.
Shut up! Medical. Shut up!
This whole
Sports science. Shut up!
department of people who've got just head in hands, if you know what I mean. Harris just like, up, 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 up. No, don't worry. He starts. He starts. Listen, when I was his age, no. I mean, it's great. First of all, it's just a really good boost. Like to be honest, I think obviously Oldham at home is a tough game. Grimsby away for sure is our hardest game so far, I would say, this season. Getting these players back fit now, I think it's just really important. Obviously, as we move towards the clocks change as well, we're killing it in BST.
Shit.
Yeah,
Shit, that didn't even register.
That, yeah. BSTUs, it's happening. Don't worry. It's happening in real time, mate. No, just enjoy it. You've got you've got a month or whatever, 2 months, however long we've got ages. Just live for the moment. I guess only other stuff on injuries with Harris was asked about any new injuries and basically refused to answer, said, watch this space. So,
I'm loving this. It's the intrigue. Can it make that much difference? Is it going to impact Oldham's plans that much if Ben Purrington's out with a knock?
I struggle to believe that, but who knows? I guess take us through Lavery's fit. What are you doing with lineup? Any changes you're making from Newport? I guess even the bench now is starting to warrant a little bit of consideration. Probably not this Saturday, but definitely next Saturday if everyone is well. Take me through it.
Yeah, probably not changing a great deal. Again, I'd say maybe there's a choice to be made at left back because again, like Bradshaw has looked good when he's played in the cup. But I think Purrington's just been part of a defence which kept his first clean sheet in the league since the first day of the season. So don't imagine we'll be desperate to change that. I think one area where there might be a bit of a consideration to it is probably who starts up front. Because I do think CUFC's looked like a real handful in his appearance against Charlton, and then when he came on, helped to really change the game against Newport. And Abbey's been a little quiet, I think, for the last couple of games. Again, like it's small sample sizes, right? And he hit the ground running and played really well, and scored goals as well. And obviously in his first few appearances, and was like the main man. So you don't want to throw all that away too quickly. But I do think Kwasi's looked like a real handful. So I'd be intrigued to see what happens there. I don't expect that we'll start with two up front because I think that does limit your options for what you can do later on. Like Lavery will surely be on the bench. There's been too much talk about him from not to be on the bench, especially if on deadline day when everyone's crying out for a striker to come in to replace Loft going out, and our response has to tweet 3 pictures of Shane Lavery kicking a football on the training ground. If he then didn't even make the squad, that'd be a bit of a slap in the face. I think
we did do this last season, Tom. At some point, I can't remember who it was, but they spent all week. They put someone in all the media shots, and then they just weren't in the squad at all. It might have been Lofty actually.
Yeah, it might have been. Maybe that's not as much of a slap in the face because it's Ryan Loft, but yeah, I think Lavery will just be on the bench, even if it's just like nothing planned, nothing sort of anticipated. Just like there's a chance we find ourselves 1-1 or a goal down, and you bring on for like the last 5 minutes or something just to chuck a bit.
Yeah, I mean, we know because we've been told the medical protocols about like return to play tend to be, it's something like 15 minutes, then 30, then a half, then an hour. It's like little 15-minute increments. So would make you believe we probably won't see a lot of Lavery, if at all. I mean, I would hazard a guess actually that plan A is to be 2-0 up or even 1-0 up, and we just don't see him basically. Is there a weird world where he does start? Do you know what I mean? There's an alternate universe where you go, well, let's start him and seek to like put the game beyond probably a slightly brittle confidence Oldham, and then hook him off. You could even hook him off 30 minutes in, if it's gone completely to plan. I'm guessing not, but I'm always interested in this.
I don't think so. Like, I do know what you mean. I sort of understand the logic, and because I'm a pessimist, I kind of look at it the other way, and I think like, what happens if we do that and then the game doesn't go to plan? And then you have to like withdraw maybe your best striker after like 45 minutes or an hour or something. That's that'd be the way that I look at it. But hey, look, I'm not a football manager. I'm just a pessimist who's been battered by, nearly 25 years of watching a lot of crap football at Cambridge United. So that's the way it goes, I guess. But yeah, like, I totally understand the logic of it. I don't think it will happen. I think he'll be on the bench. I wouldn't be surprised if he's an unused sub, particularly if the game's going in our favour. So yeah, I think that's the way I expect it to go.
And then you mentioned there are not many changes, but obviously Ben Knight's name has been sort of, he's been statistically one of our weaker players, and he also has been a little quiet against Newport. Is there a world where your man Catch gets back in this first team and starts on Saturday?
To be honest, like, this is less about Kachunga and it's more about Knight. I do think he's a player you have to persevere with. Like if you just drop him completely because he had one or two slightly quieter games, I think it maybe just defeats the object slightly of signing someone like that who's kind of all potential and no real track record. So I think I'd stick with it for now. To be honest, I could see it. Like I do think Harris really rates Kachunga and has talked about him a lot. Has been brilliant in training and whatnot, and so on and so forth. So like it's not a difficult thing to imagine that he might. I guess you could see it as maybe trying to protect Ben Knight a little bit, like just take him out the firing line a little bit. But no, for me, I think I'd persist, and that, yeah, I'll reiterate again. That's less about Kachunga and more about Ben Knight.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I guess on the flip of that, though, it's kind of your argument reversed back on you is if we get to 70 minutes and it's 1-1, would you rather be subbing Kachunga on for Knight, or would you rather be subbing on Knight for Kachunga? I like the idea of bringing on Knight, Mayer and Lavery all at the same time, if you know what I mean. Big impact change.
I'll tell you why I don't like that. I don't like that because if we do that, we're definitely losing the game.
Probably that's us chasing a very stodgy 1-0 deficit. I guess. Well, Tom, predict for us. We've said it might be a bit of a. We said it might be a bit of a war of attrition. Is Lavery going to come on and score a winner for us? Like, what's going to happen?
Do you know what? I think in terms of a boost to everyone's bullishness for the season, that is the outcome, isn't it? It's a bit of a grind, it's a bit of a toil, and then you bring on Lavery, who makes the difference and scores the winner. I'd love to see it happen. I think it'll be a really tight game. I think it will go either way, and I think it'll be one goal will swing it. So I think it'll be 1-0. I think like we should edge it. Like we'll have a better team. We've got better quality in there. Our midfield should, particularly at home, should control things. And I think that means we should be able to create enough chances and create enough openings to at least get ourselves a goal. And I think we should then have confidence to shut up shop and keep it tight. So yeah, I'll go with a 1-0 win and coconuts and all the rest of it.
Okay, I like the sound of that. Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit confident now. I'm trying to stay grounded, if you know what I mean. But you've whipped me up into a frenzy, Tom Walker. It's not very taekwondo of me, that actually. I need to calm down, basically, in the spirit of World Taekwondo Day. Tom Walker, I'll see you on Saturday, eh? Or not? Are you going to England? You're a splitter, aren't you?
Wow, you dumped that on me right now.
I've outed you.
That's disgraceful.
Outed you. You'd rather watch Jordan Henderson at Villa Park trudging around in that midfield for England.
Let me tell you now, I would much rather not be watching Jordan Henderson at all if that has anything to do with it. But there is another time for the England discussion. I will be following it from afar, unfortunately. I'm sure we'll be able to get it up on somebody's phone at some point to watch it. So I'll be there. I'll be there in spirit, but I'll be covering it from afar. Yeah.
Just got a funny feeling you're still going to manage to miss a goal somehow.
What, watching England?
No, not you'll certainly miss any England goals. You'll for sure miss. We all know why. I mean, more a Cambridge goal. It's got a weird feeling. You'll find a way.
Yeah. Very, very nearly did on Saturday. Very, very nearly missed Kel Watt's goal. I was honestly, I can't explain. If there had been any sort of queue at the urinals, I would have missed that goal, but there wasn't. So yeah, the sun was shining on me on Saturday, and hopefully that'll be the case for the rest of the season. Partly why I was quite glad we didn't sign Ironside back, to be honest, because I feel like we're sort of past that now.
I'm not sure we are.
Maybe not.
I'm not sure we are, but I'm sure it'll resurface at some point soon.
Yeah, we'll get at some point.
Well, Tom Walker, have a great Saturday. Have a great rest of International Taekwondo Day.